Welcome to another episode of the La-Di-Da Times. I am Jeff Cougar Koslowski, and I'm holding down the La-Di-Da tent by myself today. We got a pair of veterans here today to kind of continue the conversation that we were having in our previous episode. That was, oops, all La-Di-Das. This time, we're going in a different direction. It's the winter time, and we are looking to kind of just get ourselves up and ready. And as La-Di-Das and Nationals, we know what to do and we know how to do it. But every so often, we'll bring in a team from the outside. As vintage baseball is one of these beautiful things that reaches all across the country, and we here in the Michigan, Ohio, Midwest area, we are very fortunate that we have a really strong system of vintage baseball teams. And so I wanted to bring a couple of guys in to kind of get the Greenfield Village atmosphere, but from their perspective, from the perspective of somebody from the outside. So that way, if it is your first time coming in as a player or your team's first time coming in, here's a few guys that have been doing it for quite some time now, and they can give you some of the tips and tricks and things that they learned along the way. And I'll start off with the rookie, as it were, here, the youngest of the group, and even then a man with a lot of playing experience here, representing the Bear Clan Baseball Club of Flat Rock, Michigan, Mr. Bryan Parker. Cannon, good to see you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Cougar. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and with us a longtime friend, and I stress it at that. And may I just say that on my birthday, he admitted, and I know I might wreck some things here, but on my birthday, he said I was his favorite La-Di-Da. And I know that's not a phrase he throws around lightly either.
Nope, that came straight from the heart, and I meant every word of it.
See, that's why I brought you on here, Rudy. Your check's on the way. Mr. Rudy Frias, representing the Capital Baseball Club of Columbus, Ohio. Rudy, thanks, brother, for coming on here.
Thank you for the invite. I mean, goodness, I'm looking for something to do during these cold winter, gray, snowy days, and this was the respite I needed. So thank you.
If that's what gets us in, if that's what gets us by, then so be it. Let's have a little baseball talk here. So we're going to be talking here a little bit about what it's like to play at Greenfield Village. And like I said, I wanted to get it from the perspective of those on the outside, but we got to get to know our people a little bit. Bryan, I want to start with you. I want to kind of get you into the mindset of, first of all, where did you discover vintage baseball? How did you come into this game, just in generally speaking? And if that means a little bit on your baseball life, but where did you in vintage baseball come from?
So I played a lot of softball with Tony Canatella, who was one of the founding members of our team over in Flat Rock. He had actually asked me the year before I started, hey, we're starting to play, would you be interested? And I wanted to. Actually, I just had back surgery, and I wanted to give softball one more go, see. And the next year, he asked me again, you want to play? We're starting a new team in Flat Rock. The year prior, they had been playing in Taylor. And, I just decided to give it a go after talking with him about it and, hearing about the game and about the traditions and just more or less, playing catch with him at the field. He'd bring a baseball out to softball on Friday nights every once in a while. And after just hearing how much fun it is, fun it is to do. We kind of got brought on a little bit with Walker. That was our first game at Flat Rock with Walker Tavern. They kind of, I don't know if they showed all of us the ropes because we had some guys who had played before, but kind of like talking with, Jim about this is how you handle things and this is why you do this. And I like the competitiveness of it, but at the same time, you're very competitive. And at the same time, you're just, you're friends. It's like a friendly competitiveness. And at the end of the day, I don't, at home games, you share a meal at the end of it, you share lunch, and it's just, nobody really walks away a sore loser at the end of the game. Like you're happy when you do good, you're happy when the other guys do good. And at the core of it, that's what I love about it it's competitive, but there's still a great sportsmanship about it. And that's my favorite thing when it comes to this game. It's not something you see on a softball field. There's no like dogging each other or getting on each other. You might rib your buddies on your team a little bit, but that's just guys being guys, right?
It is a nice kind of way, and Walker Tavern's always was a good bunch to get in. They're one of those teams that have experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and everything in between. So they're a good bunch to get warmed up to. Rudy, you've got a little more experience than I do. You're essentially the family legacy is truly like it is legendary in the vintage baseball community, whether you want to admit it or not. The name carries a lot of weight with it here. Some might already know the story, but for those who don't, Swamp Fox, how did you yourself get into vintage baseball?
Wow, the name does carry a lot of weight. Trust me. No, they are my father, Rudy Fearless Frias, and my older brother, Ian Kid Frias, are responsible for getting the Friases into vintage baseball. I think it was in like 92. They answered a personal ad in the newspaper that the Historical Society had sent out, saying that they offered this experience for kids to come out and sleep in the village in a tent and just kind of live that Civil War era lifestyle. And then the next day they got to play a baseball game against the Ohio Village Muffins. And my dad, avid softball player, wild man out there, saw it and was like, I want to do this. And that's how the family got introduced. I didn't start playing until around 1994 when they formed the Junior Muffins. And then I became like an official Muffin in 1996. And we had built this community and this family of just lovers of baseball and history. So naturally, those activities combined forces outside of the baseball field, and a lot of research went into finding out that an 1867 baseball club named the Columbus Capitals existed in Columbus, Ohio. They were founded, I believe, April 1866, but their first game was in 67. And that community was like, let's build this club. And my father, Lefty Trudeau, and a number of other amazing gentlemen were a part of the very first Columbus Capitals baseball club in 1998, and then been doing it ever since.
Yeah, that's as long as I have been in the community here. Your dad and you and your brother are just the nicest gentlemen that I could meet. You could obviously, Ian, you can see from quite a distance, but I remember something he said where you come to the World Tournament, and actually it was his wife said that it takes him about 45 minutes. And it's not because it's a long walk from the parking lot to the field. It's because so many people come up to him, say hi, shake his hands. Like they are doing so much because like he's just a genuinely good dude. And your dad is a good guy. And, you're an awesome guy. So we appreciate you being the good purveyors of the game there.
Absolutely. Thank you for all those glowing things. Gosh, I'm going to blush.
Yeah, you should. I said I don't throw these compliments around too often. So going for that, so we've got our little roots here. Bryan, we'll go back to you, and I want to talk to you about your home field, going to Hurock Park. For those who don't know, walk us through what does your home field look like, and how often would you play there, and how many people would you say come to you like an average regular game there?
So we played Hurock Park in Flat Rock. We are the Bear Clan because right before you walk across the bridge across the river there's a big bear statue. We got a big wide open field. There's a playground in deep left center. Not very many people hit out that far, but it's out there. We got the river, Huron River running right alongside the third baseline. On a normal, we don't play as many home games the last year or two that we used to. We do usually host we have a tournament and kind of kick off the year every year in May. With, I think Columbus is, I don't know if you guys have came or you guys have definitely been invited. I think the Lottie Dahs have come, Canton has come, Walker's come. And that's usually how we kick off our seasons with our tournament to open the season. We'll get a decent amount of fans there. We'll get, nothing like the Village, but we'll get 30 or 40, maybe 50 people there come watching. And then they have a bike trail along that kind of wraps around the third base side, back around the home plate where the pavilion is, and then kind of off around the first base side. You'll get bikers who are riding their bikes and stop and ask questions, which is always one of my favorite things about playing, is just like people walk by and they're like, what is going on here? And it's it's always fun to kind of stop when you're on the dugout and talk to them and say, oh, this is 1867 baseball. The biggest thing that gets people's attention is I'm out there in the outfield without a glove on, or the first baseman doesn't have a glove on. You guys play without a glove, the ball must be a sock, a roll of socks. Like, well, it's harder. And you toss them a ball and talk to them about just kind of about the differences in the rules and how it's, grown from, like, we talk about the 1865 to the 67. And then I've never played the next one's the 1880s, or I've never played into that, to talk about any of that. But it's always fun when people are riding by, like, on the bikes, not expecting to see it, and you get a chance to stop and talk to them. But we play a couple home games a year. But usually, especially more lately, the last couple of years, we've been a traveling team.
Okay. So Rudy, the Capitals, and I know you've moonlighted for the Muffins every now and then, or at least know enough about them. Tell us about your home field and your home escapades there.
Absolutely. With the Capitals initially, when we didn't really have a home field, so the Muffins were gracious enough to allow us to be a part of matches that took place in Muffin Meadow, historic Muffin Meadow. And we did get crazy in the early 2000s, and we played a game in the actual park where the very first match was held, Schiller Park in German Village. And it's super populated. There's like a tennis court about 150 feet to right field. Like it's a trip. You get so much foot traffic and so much engagement. But then, you're like, this is not tenable. So now the Columbus Capitals play in Sharon Woods Metro Park, which is just north of Columbus, about 15-20 minutes north of the actual historical village. And it's just this nice little cozy spot that we found. And it's got playgrounds for the kids, bathrooms close by. All the fans are in the shade, so it's kind of like a pretty choice spot. What we make up for in those characteristics, we kind of lose in foot traffic, because I think the largest crowd the Capitals pull is somewhere on good days between 5 and 12. And 5 would be like my mom, and then our scorekeeper. But we it doesn't matter. I think it's more freeing, honestly, because I think that's where we get our most comfortable and goofy. I mean, Flat Rock has seen it. We hosted them for 2 right after their first World Tournament victory, and that was one of the most fun, insane matches, because it was just us, and we were just goofing off in the middle of a field playing the game, and that's kind of that's our home base.
Yeah, I was so beat up for that game, I think I had to pitch.
Yeah.
It's that post-World Tournament malaise that it's after the tournament, it's all of us, even us in the Village, were like, ugh, everything hurts right now. So speaking to that, so we go from what you all are comfortable with, what you've played in front of. It would be nearby to your homes. You know the people that are there, you know what to expect, you know the bumps and all this. Tell me about your first memory of a game at Greenfield Village. It doesn't necessarily have to be against the La-Di-Das, but the first time you remember playing at the Village here. Bryan, we'll start it off with you here. Your first time here.
The first time, I believe we played there my first year. I know my first world tournament I played for, I think it was Doverton. But I think we played there as the Bear Clan the very first year we were a team. And I had grown up and played and seen it like as a kid. And I don't think I ever realized like it would ever be something I'd ever get to do. So I really like took it in like the whole, I think we played on a Saturday because I remember the parade and we would walk through the town. And I don't know, it was very surreal. I remember, of course I remember more obvious, the more recent times that I just remember it being very surreal. Like, I can't believe like this is something I get to do. Like, I thought this was like something the employees of the park only get to do. And I remember it being like really neat. And the first year might not have been as interactive with the fans as I am now. Like, I was still learning more and then more the game and the nuances. But I remember being stressed, like, make sure when we talk, we're talking how we should be talking. And, I think I got one thing that really sticks out to me. I wish I could remember who it was from the DAS, but there was a fly ball hit to me. And I said, I have it instead of I got it or I go or anything like you would in softball. And after the play, they took me off the side. They're like, I was really impressed that you said I have it. Like, that was the proper way to say it. And I like, that really stands out to me. And I really pound that into our guys' heads, like, especially our new guys coming on. I talked to them a couple things. I'm like, you got to, handshakes, not high fives. You want to talk more proper, like I have it, not I go or you go. Like, we talk like they would have talked then, like, and obviously be a sportsman. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one of the ones that sticks out to me in my head is as one of my first times out there. It was really like it's still this is my 9th year, and I still think about that and pound that into people's heads who are new to the game on our team.
Yeah, to make a what I guess we might consider a routine fly ball, even though I argue there's not really any such thing as a routine fly ball catch. And then somebody on the opposite team comes up to you and congratulates you on your verbiage. Welcome to Dearborn. That's how we roll here.
So that sticks out in my head almost every time I say it. That one instance, so it really stuck with me.
Yeah, I find myself doing that in softball games too, and it stuns the other team for a second. They're like, "Wait, what did he say?" So who knows how it comes over. Rudy, you have been playing at the Village for we're not going to say how far. You've kind of already mentioned it here, but we've gone through some changes.
Yeah, like when was the first time, like the first game at the Village? Was that 94?
So I think it would have been 94. Would have been at Walnut Grove, because we were playing in either 92 or 93 up at the field in front of Firestone Farm. But that's when it was the La-Di-Das versus like the Firestone Farm Chores team in the field, like right over by where the grist mill is, going that way. That would have been probably a little over 30 years ago. But 94, I think, is the first year they moved it down to Walnut Grove.
I think I was at the muffin trip up, because I remember taking a train, and I remember like the carousel, because in my head, wasn't it down? Like, wasn't it like where the so like that's like, and watching the game there, it was like the coolest venue I had ever seen, like Greenfield Village, right? And then I think we got introduced as the Capitals, I think in 2004, the first World Tournament. And that, I mean, we were kind of lucky in the sense of like we had been drilled into like that mindset of like you're playing a game, but you're stepping on a stage. So like we had grown up, oh my gosh. you know,
Babies.
yeah, the muffin. Yeah. So like, you know, we had, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. We had bits. We had little bits, you know, like
Hmm.
foul tick not caught, and you go, see you at church, Mr. Frias, you know, things like that, and gets the crowd laughing and engaging. And then, but it had never been to that scale. Like we were like, whew, this is, and plus we only traveled when we didn't really have a home field at like in the first few years as the Capital, so we were a travel team all the time, and we had never like the clubs were intimidating. I mean, they were just to look at. You're like, oh gosh, yeah, those guys look like they hit the ball a mile. Great, fantastic. This is gonna hurt, you know. So, but that coupled with the amount of people and the way that we just generally interact with the crowd and try to have like an enjoyable game, it was it like immediately became, I mean, it's kind of like the biggest deal tournament at Greenfield Village in the Midwest. Yes, you have Muffin Meadow, and you know it's a historic space. That's where it started. But like next, it's Greenfield Village. Even like it's just an experience to behold. Even when I got older and could appreciate it more, like when I realized that so much more happened outside of those fields, and there's so much to see. It's my favorite place to go.
Appreciate hearing that. You know, we've gone through like, you know, field orientations too, and so I know the field was shaped a little bit different when you guys first started. You know, much to the detriment of many a left-handed hitter who now have a 230-foot porch that they now have to be told not to hit at. Now, you know, the three of us, we kind of know each other through, you know, we definitely see each other at the World Tournament every year, second weekend of August, just to make sure we get all our cheap plugs in that we possibly can with that. But we talk to me about like how some of the high stress games, like we talk about kind of the low stress ones, and you know, we're out here and we're kind of having fun, and you know, boys will be boys sort of things. But you know, the World Tournament, we always like to say it's a gentleman's game until you put a trophy in front of us. then it can get just turn the volume up a little bit here. Bryan, let me start with you. Describe for people like the difference between playing at the Village on a normal, regular old Saturday and then playing like on Sunday in the first class. You know, we all have the first class, you know, bracket experience here, but for somebody who's maybe never been through it or seen it, what's it like, the difference there between the two?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say, you know, we've been blessed to have success in that tournament, you know, winning 2 of them. But it definitely is. I don't know. It's like you got to lock into another gear, and kind of, especially that Sunday morning, that first game can be very stressful. We've had a couple really close calls in that first game Sunday. But I don't want to sound like preachy, but you need to remember, like, even though as competitive as you are, or as you're going to be, like, obviously nobody wants to lose, but we're still there to put on a show. Like, you still need to represent your team, and you're there, you know, representing the Village, but you're still there to represent your team in a respectful way. So, but it can come. We've had quite a few nail biters. We've had a couple disappointments, you know, on Sunday, and it is another stress level. Like there's no other way of putting it. You know, until that last out comes, you know, and in the game, it's you never know what can happen. We had a real tough back and forth with Canton year before last. We're going into the top of the 9th. They, you know, or I don't remember. It was the end of the game, and I think they thought it was over, and then I threw a ball, you know, over first base, and then we ended up losing it. So it you know, any little, especially Sunday in the first class round, any little mistake will cost you.
Yeah, it's never over till it's over. But I like how you're talking about you kind of keeping the main thing about it is a show. It is, you know, we're still in a demonstration, and
Yeah.
We're demonstrating, Marcus mentioned this in the last video here, where it's like, we're demonstrating one particular year. That's not a particularly good year. Otherwise, all the rules would still be exactly the same way that we'd be doing it today. So they were in the process of making changes to that. So, sometimes as hard as it might be, I agree. You got to keep the focus there.
We've had moments on Sunday, maybe even Saturday, but we've definitely had moments on Sunday where we've had to grab guys and pull them off to the side. Like, you need to remember why we're here. Don't you throw a tantrum out there or getting upset. Like we've had to, and even things that we've been playing as long as we have, remind people about even what to wear. Like we're here representing this sport this year, like our team, we're here as a group, it's not about you. And that's, it's kind of.
And I've heard you guys say that too. And, when it's can get feisty, and usually somebody in yellow is yelling like, hey, we don't say that here. We don't do that here, kind of thing. And so then everybody kind of reins it back. So, Rudy, you and me have, we've traded some blows, wins and losses on both of our ends here. Tell me on your end, what's the difference between a regular old Saturday at the Village and first class game?
Oh my goodness. In the movie Over the Top, where, if you don't know, folks, Sylvester Stallone drives a truck and arm wrestles, and he has the thing where he has the hat on and he says it's like a switch and I turn it around and I'm like a machine, I'm ready. It's a switch. He's on, he's focused. That's the difference I see in you, Cougar, and on like a regular old Saturday game, the hat's forward, chumming it up. World tournament time, you turn that baby around, metaphorically, turn it around. And it's a focus, and and so like I like to say that I'm pretty self-aware, and that I'm empathetic to individuals, and I'm like, oh, that's still my friend Cougar. He just wants to beat me. Like he's not out to hurt me. He's not out to, actively, he may actively root against me because that means, his team's going to win. But at the end of this, that's still my friend. Right.
Right.
And I think that it's something that it can be learned, but you have to have that willingness to accept that. So when you have to, Bryan, when you have to pull those guys aside and say, hey, we don't do that here. We don't say that, this is not why we're here. They're willing to accept that teaching of how this is a different style. This is not, yes, we're still gentlemen. Yes, this is a little bit more than a regular game. Yes, it means a little bit more, but we're not going to lose sight that honestly, from a manager captain standpoint, these are clubs that I would like to schedule again. Right. So I want it to be an enjoyable experience. I want them and us to meet at the end and really congratulate each other on a good game. Yes, I want to win. I know a lot of people are like, ugh, I don't care about winning. Everybody wants to win, but I don't want to win at the cost of the camaraderie and the friendships that we've made. So I think that's kind of the difference. I love a Saturday. I love a Saturday at the Village. That is so much that's when we really turn it up to 11 with the cheesiness and the charm. But we also love a Saturday at the World Tournament in that first class bracket. We love that too. So that's the give and take.
Yeah, I love to win. I love winning. But especially when you're at the Village, it's almost like I love even more to put on a show, to have a catch or have something where the crowd goes crazy. It's I think I was talking to somebody about this last year, and it's it's crazy that we play a sport without a glove, barehanded catching this ball, and it's almost expected you catch it 100% of the time. But and equally, it's just as impressive that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking there's no such thing as a routine catch, and yet the expectation is,
yeah,
why didn't you catch that? I think some of the more dedicated spectators probably look at us and go, my gosh, Cannon dropped that ball. Is he okay? Did he hurt something there? Folks,
I'll tell you this. I had a month this last year where I couldn't catch a ball. I'd be planning under it like this. It would hit me in the hands, and I would drop it on the ground. And people were so expecting me to catch it, they'd tag up, and I would throw them out at third. But I don't know what I did where I couldn't catch a ball for a month. And we're at the World Tournament, and it was the 8:00 game. So there's nobody at the park except for your family. You know, we were playing you guys, the Dawes, and the first ball hit to me was a mile high. I dropped it. Threw the guy at third. It was first and second. Threw the guy force out at third. This next guy up hits a ball a mile high, and it's silent as can be. And I hear my wife, "Oh my gosh, please don't drop it again." I caught that one. And I'm like, I could hear you like you were standing next to me.
Oh, wow.
But it's like the expectation is there. Like there isn't a routine ball, but there should be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's otherwise they wouldn't have designed gloves to get bigger with webbing and all this. So otherwise, there wouldn't be.
I still don't let her live that down.
Yeah, that for any new teams that are coming to the World Tournament, boy, I hope you don't get the 8 a.m. game.
Yeah, that one's...
I think we've had it 2 years in a row, like last year and the year before, and it's an experience.
It's not an experience. Like skydiving, that's an experience. If you want me to play, you want me to play baseball with a cinder block wrapped in a washcloth and playing in a bathtub, yeah, and then sorry, count me out for that one. But yeah, I mean, you get the get the different feelings, you get the different attitudes. What is it like to be on this way? But the thing that you guys have both kept coming back to, and I want to wrap it all up here. You come from baseball backgrounds, you come from athletic backgrounds, even not necessarily baseball, but we play sports in various ways, and you're always taught gotta win. So sometimes that notion of remember who we are playing for, and it's that kid who wants your autograph. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever signed autographs before. That's an experience.
That
kid,
that is the coolest thing. Like, I got 2 years ago, I think, I'm on some Hanford. Hanford did the deck of cards, and I was in the deck of cards, so they gave me some free ones. And that is absolutely one of my favorite things is going to the park is the kids, man. Like, they come over and want to talk to you and play catch with you and, throw a ball with you. You give them a card. And I think the first kid over the merry-go-round asked me for my autograph. I was like, I don't even know how to sign. Like, how do I spell Cannon? Is there 2 N's or 1? But yeah, it is that is the coolest thing. I say my daughter, when we go to play catch, she wants to play barehanded with a baseball before she wants to play with a softball glove on, So that's cool.
Good for her. For raising up right. Rudy, real quick, do you got any first autograph stories or first time that a kid recognized you?
I was like, who sent you? Because I was like, this me? Like, it was like I was like, I didn't. Okay, absolutely. And then I signed a hat and I signed a couple of programs. It was like, I was like, yeah, do you want me to? I asked them what they wanted. I was like, do you want me to put my nickname or do you just want me to sign it? How does this interaction go? Now I've got it down a little bit better. But no, yeah, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, because honestly, like at the end of the day, we're just a bunch of dudes in, like, as my wife would say, costumes. I have to tell her it is a uniform. It is a uniform. I was like, how dare you?
Oh, that's funny.
And
yeah.
So I think it's just, it just speaks to, I think, honestly, what our focus is as a community, what we put out there. And that's just the fans saying that they're enjoying it. And I think it's a beautiful thing.
It's amazing. Like, what, we have like our own level of self-awareness. Like when the world tournament gets done, no matter how we do, we got to go to work on Monday. For the most part, like all of us have to go. We got to go right back to work on Monday, and we ain't signing any autographs at work. So, but here, it's one great big family reunion where we see each other, we smile, we hug, and for about 90 minutes of we want to crush you, but when that 90 minutes is over, we're right back to how's your wife, how are the kids, and that sort of thing. So let me officially wrap it up here. So we got some cool stories with autographs and things like that, but is there a moment, or was there a moment where one of the earliest ones, or maybe one of your better stories, where you just said, like, this is why I do this, like, if I don't do anything else, this is why I do vintage baseball? Either of you guys who want to lead off with that.
I think I can. I got like a couple. I mean, I'll be real quick. I think we got invited to go to the Field of Dreams with the Bay City Independents. I believe this was in 2015. And yes, the whole site has this gravitas about it. However, I could have taken that game and placed it anywhere else in the world, and it still would have been one of my favorite experiences, because it was like being a kid again, in the sense of like, hey, we're just going to scramble together some people on a field and play and see what happens, and then we might switch it up in the next game, and it was just the most joy on the field. So that feeling, capturing that was an aha moment for me. And then I think, honestly, an aha moment, and God, this kid does not need any more publicity, but like Feeney being a kid that watched some of us play. He was at the World Tournament as a kid watching us play. Certainly watched myself and my brother play. And
he never watched me play.
Yeah, I can't comprehend it because I'm not that old, right? And so, but like, and now he is like a really great ambassador for the game, for the community, and he's up there winning championships with his club. Like, I think that's a really great full circle moment of like, like what we do is like, it does have a minor impact, and it can help, continue what was started so long ago.
Yeah, who knows when whether it be the next Mike Finney, or or another Mike Finney, or anybody who's looks at us, and I mean, can't tell you how many guys you've probably run into that have said, how do I do this? I can do this too. Like, which I'm mildly offended when people look at me and they go, I could do that. Like, no, you can't. No, sir, you cannot. But like the amount of people that you've run into and said, how do I get started? Like, how do I do that? I mean, it kind of goes to the the building aspect of it. Bryan, what about you? What's a time, what's a moment that you're like, this vintage baseball is something I want to do?
I don't know if I can think of a single example. I guess kind of like Rudy said, like a single example where it's like, this is why I do this. Like, we've played at the Field of Dreams twice, and it is funny how there is such an aura there, even though, like, I don't think it has any baseball significance outside of it was in a movie, but it is playing there has been great. Like the 2 times we've gone there, it's almost like it has like an aura about it. But like, this is why we play this game and why I love this game and why I play. It really does. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm just locking in on it, but man, it really is the fans. Like, I absolutely love any chance we get to play at the Village. I will say I didn't really think about it until you mentioned it earlier, like the scheduling. I know one big part of it is like when we pull guys in, we're like, hey, we want to play these guys next year. We want to we want to play at the Village next year. We want to play in Columbus next year. We want to do a home and home with these guys. We need to be respectful, winning or losing. You need to be respectful. But I love like the World Tournament, or really, I like when other guys are playing, and I just sit in the stands and kind of listen and talk to the fans, and even eavesdrop a little bit. You hear people say, well, what about, this, or how come they did that, or why did they do this? And it is really cool to get to go pick a couple baseballs out of your bag and go over and say, yeah, this is the base, this is a lemon peel ball, and this is the ball we play with. And, we didn't start using gloves until this year, and they weren't really gloves. They were more like a workout mitt. And, it kind of just, I think you and I, Cougar, last year, I got approached by somebody on like a company trip. Like, oh, this is our company picnic for the year. Oh, hey, let's talk to, let's grab this guy and ask him questions. And, it's just, I'm still, and even for me, it's great that I'm still learning. I love getting to talk to Cougar and listen to him explain things. And I'm still learning as we play. And I say it's great with the kids, bringing the next generation into it and all that. But it's like I'm bringing them into, kind of bringing them back in time. I'm not bringing them, that whole part of it is the most fun to me. Like I said, I love winning, and I take it, I really appreciate we do a lot of it, but it is all about putting on a show for me. And really I love the fan interaction. It's my favorite part anywhere we go. Like the Village, obviously it's because you got the people there as it is, but anywhere we go. And I got friends all around the country because of this game that I wouldn't have anywhere. Some of our best friends that we play with are on the Addison Mountain Stars. I couldn't point on a map where Addison is, but I love when I see those guys,
I'm sure the Addison
somewhere
Mountain
in Pennsylvania, and I assume in the hills, but I spend my summers getting to be a kid. And I say that, that's my favorite part of the summer. I get to play my summers playing the game I love and grew up playing as a kid with some of my best friends. And, all winter long, I just sit there waiting to, see everybody again. And, you say, oh, we'll get together in the winter, but you don't see them in the winter like you do in the summer. And I just look forward to spring when I get to hang out with my friends again and play the game we all love.
This is kind of like the most we see each other in the winter is through these screens.
Yeah.
Another reason why I'm so grateful that you guys decided to jump on, because, man, if I talk to my dogs about the importance of the 1864 to 1865, they're going to run away. Well, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I again can't thank you enough for jumping on board here and talking us over here. When the schedule lines up right, I look forward to seeing you both again real soon.
Hey, thank you for the invite. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys. I mean, I get to see my favorite Flat Rock Bear Clan baseball club member and my favorite La-Di-Da. It was a good day.
Okay, you guys heard it there. I heard it here. As I think of you, Rudy,
Stash.
Stash. Yeah, he's going to give me something about that. But yeah, I think of Rudy every time we put the yellows on. Is the first time we wore them at the World Tournament. And they said it couldn't be done. They said it would never happen. A team showed up in mustard.
It looks so good on y'all.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah. Unless it's like 94 degrees out, right?
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, guys, and thank you to everybody that's listening for it here. We much appreciate you. We encourage you to keep following us on Facebook, Instagram, and keep checking out for more of these videos. Until then, strike well, be safe, and we look forward to seeing you real soon on Walnut Grove.
Gentlemen, on behalf of the capital city of Ohio, we cannot thank you enough for joining us on this beautiful day to watch the glorious game of baseball. On behalf of my club, we would like to extend our sincere apologies to the arbiter that had to keep these clubs in line today. Sir, you did an admirable job. More importantly, ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to talk about love. There is a couple amongst you who hails from Madison, Pennsylvania, who today is celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary. Without this couple and this love, this team would not exist. This relationship would not exist. Gentlemen and ladies,
celebrate one more thing today. Our dear friend Susie's birthday is today, and this is her first time at the village. Can we get one huzzah for Susie? Hip hip!
Yeah. Gentlemen Capitals, for the glory of the game and our friends, the Addison Valley Stars. 3 cheers! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah!
That's the best part sometimes too.